Come back to you, Priyank. Let me take in a word from Tahseen Poonawalla, who's joining us on the phone line. Tehseen, what do you make of this? ED conducting searches at several locations, but most importantly at the National Herald House as well. What's important here is this comes right after the questioning of Sonia Gandhi just a few days ago.
ED was supposed to be an investigating agency. Now it's become a recruitment agency for the Bharatiya Janata Party, doing the work of DA. What is DA? Diverting agency, diverting from the issues of the day. Where is the money in National Herald to be laundered? They're going on a fishing expedition, trying to find some money that has not been laundered, only to divert attention from the issues of the day and recruit people for the Bharatiya Janata Party. The ED should be ashamed of the job that it's doing.
Enforcement Directorate, Tehseen, says that this is based on the Income Tax Department's findings, and we're taking it forward from there on. So how is it that you're saying that there are no facts that the ED has cited while taking this case up again?
So the income tax has said that there's an income that's come, tax has to be paid. That has been challenged in the tribunal, whether tax has to be paid, whether an income has come or no. Again, I ask you, something that the income tax has said that there is money for tax to be paid, where is laundering in it? That is official money.
Okay, so let me bring in Gaurav Bhatia into the conversation, and perhaps he can answer some of your questions. Gaurav Bhatia, Tahseen Poonawalla says that the Enforcement Directorate once again is going ahead with this deliberate targeting of some of the opposition leaders, and the case really holds no merit.
I'll answer Tehseen, but before that I must say that people of the country are welcoming the strong action that has been taken by the ED so far. And Gandhi Parivar or Partha Chatterjee or Satinder Jain or Sanjay Raut are not above the law of the country. If they try to indulge in illegal acts of money laundering and corruption, they ought to be punished, and thus this is a welcome move. Second, when Tehseen says this is political vendetta, I must remind Tehseen that Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi moved the Honorable Supreme Court and the Delhi High Court for quashing of the charges under Section 420, cheating. In the same National Herald case, the Honorable Supreme Court did not grant them any relief, and thus it would be erroneous for them to say that this is political vendetta.
Okay, so no relief from the Supreme Court. How is it that you're calling it political vendetta, Tehseen?
In the Supreme Court, when they moved in the trial court, High Court, that was an income tax matter. I repeatedly asked my friend Gaurav Bhatia, where is the money to be laundered? 1 crore that has come in has been paid by interest. Everything is on the books. They are making up a fictitious laundering charge only because they want to carry out a dry cleaning job for the Bharatiya Janata Party. Like I said, the Enforcement Agency is now a recruitment agency for the Bharatiya Janata Party, doing the dry cleaning job of getting people into the Bharatiya Janata Party.
Gaurav Bhatia, would you want to respond to that?
You know, Tehseen would make a very good judge because he has so many queries all the time, but he has no answers when he is speaking for the Gandhi Parivar. But surely he is not a very good advocate, because I would not get into the merits of the case. Let the court decide that. But one thing for sure, Congress is so dirty of corruption right now that nobody can clean the Congress, and that is why it is getting decimated. They are pinning the blame on a person who has served the Gandhi Parivar for so long and who is no more. You know, who has to be blamed for this is Motilal Vora. Why can't the Gandhi Parivar come out clean and, for the sake of probity, answer the questions which the people of the country are asking?
Okay, Tehseen, the merits must be decided by the courts. And it's extremely unfortunate, says Gaurav Bhatia, that, you know, Motilal Vora is being named time and again while Enforcement Directorate was asking some of those questions to both Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi, given that he's no longer there to defend his case. Why not just answer the questions like you have when you were issued summons and let the raids go on? What's the problem?
Gaurav Bhatia is a fantastic lawyer, no doubt about it. But I don't understand how does Mr. Bhatia or anybody from the Bharatiya Janata Party know what was a private investigation of Mrs. Gandhi or Rahul Gandhi came out in public domain. Surely the Enforcement Directorate, which I call the BD, Bajrang Dal, is not giving it to their masters, the BJP, and if they are, then that's a violation of the investigation. How does Mr. Bhatia or anyone know what Mrs. Gandhi or Rahul Gandhi said? So listen, Nobody's blamed Motilal Vora. There are specific questions regarding the treasurer of the Congress party which have been answered. Now, for coming up with fictitious stories that Mr. Motilal Vora is no longer with us, they blame Ahmed Patel, the Bharatiya Janata Party. The Bharatiya Janata Party just goes after dead people. Let me ask you one thing. What happened in the Ahmed Patel blame game 1 week ago on Times Now? That's why I'm saying the Bharatiya Janata Party and its dry cleaning agency.
You know, well, we've seen how it's been a war on both the sides with regards to the Enforcement Directorate's interrogation in this case. Tehseen, I'm going to have to leave it at that with you, but thank you for putting out that perspective for us here this afternoon. Well, we continue to stay on with our reporters as well because the ED searches are currently underway. Let me go across to Akanksha as well. Akanksha, what's going on there? We've been told that the searches have been going on for more than an hour now.
Well, absolutely. Searches have been going on for more than an hour. Now, if you remember, in June, Rahul Gandhi was questioned for over 54 hours in connection with this. Just few days back, Sonia Gandhi was also summoned by the Enforcement Directorate and was asked questions in connection with this case. Now, what is the case and why are Gandhis in it? Now, it was now this National Herald newspaper was founded in 1938. It, however, went into debt and was closed down in 2008. It was alleged by the ED that Gandhis acquired properties owned by the National Herald by buying its publisher AGL through an organization called Young Indian Private Limited, in which they had 86% stakes. Now, ED had alleged that there was a money laundering case in this debt settlement, and BJP MP Subramanian Swamy had actually filed a complaint stating that there was misappropriation of funds and also cheating in this debt settlement. Let me show you the visuals of the Herald House. He had also said that it was taken over in a malicious manner to gain profit. However, the Congress party had rubbished this claim and said that it was taken over with the aim of charity, and they had called this case baseless. They had said that there was no transfer of asset and no money was exchanged there for any money laundering. Now, searches have been going all across the country at 10 locations, but especially this is important because this comes few days after Sonia Gandhi was quizzed by the ED in connection with this crucial case.
Oh yes, absolutely. Now remember, the Enforcement Directorate has time and again been saying that their case is based on the findings of the IT department. Priyank also continues to stay on with us. Priyank, 1 hour and counting. The ED searches are currently underway still. And yes, like we've been discussing, this comes right after Sonia Gandhi's questioning. And before that, several rounds of questioning that went underway for Rahul Gandhi as well. And all throughout, we've seen the Congress up in arms say that this is nothing but political vendetta and witch hunt.
And the Congress party was certainly silent when Motilal Vora was questioned by in relation to this case. But the moment the senior leadership, to be very precise, the Gandhis came under scrutiny of the Enforcement Directorate in a case which is related to wrongly giving the details of your asset, criminal conspiracy and cheating. Section 420 and 120B is certainly there in the FI, which was the complaint which was converted into FI by the Enforcement Directorate. It is very important to see that what would be the reaction of the Congress party, because once again the Herald House is under the eye of the storm because of the searches which is being carried out by the Enforcement Directorate. What it appears that there have been several documented facts which could have been gone missing, for which the Enforcement Directorate has once again come out, and what we have got to know that none of the residences but the official premises are being under the search by the Enforcement Directorate. These are the 10 locations, Christine, the Enforcement Directorate has been carrying out all these searches. The fact remains that once Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi, both of them have already been questioned, there is something very crucial which the Enforcement Directorate is trying to look into. We know that the case is pertaining to 2010 of 23rd of November, when Young India was incorporated, and there were two directors, Suman Dubey and Sam Petroda, and later on the equities changed hand. The shares were converted into equities, and those equity of shares was later on transferred to Young India, which is a company which claimed that we are giving loan to this National Herald. What Congress party came out and stated that they have been trying to give support to an organization to strengthen the media, where all these members could have been surfaced and got very big financial setback, and the money which was routed from the Congress party through Young India, what ED has been alleging, that money laundering was also done for the conversion of the money, because the equity of the share which was in the hand of National Herald was given to Young India, where the board of directors changed hand, and later to that Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi, both of them became the board of director. And during the course of questioning, both of them, the Gandhis, have been questioned that whether they were aware about the directorship, and if they were the directors, whether they were aware that so much of the equity of the money which was converted into shares could have there could have been possible money laundering. We exactly don't know that what could have been the response of Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi. But at this juncture, when both the Gandhis have already been questioned, for us, the presence of the Enforcement Directorate and searches being carried out at 10 locations across the country, pan-India searches being carried out by the Enforcement Directorate, is very important to see, because what ED could have found out, that they have documents which have gone missing, apart from what have already come out in the observation of the Income Tax Tribunal. The Income Tax Tribunal report has been very voluminous. We had accessed that a few months back, but now at this position, when the Enforcement Directorate is once again carrying out all these searches.
With us on the phone line, let me quickly get in a word from him. Mr. Memon, good afternoon, sir. National Herald premises being raided by the Enforcement Directorate, sir.
Well, you see, this kind of timing of this raid creates some kind of suspicion with regard to the genuineness of furtherance of investigation effort by ED. But in any event, when ED takes such steps belatedly, they are supposed to account for it before the learned court, special court under PMLA or relevant court to which they are accountable. And I'm sure that the ED will have to explain as to how is it that the raids were necessitated by bona fide investigation effort, because people are believing that ED officers are being used for political vendetta, for political motivation. I think ED official will have to reply to this, that, well, there is justification and they have no grudge against anybody. They are only following the letter of law, and that duty is now cast on the ED to satisfy everyone, because this perception of the PMLA powers by ED being under misuse is widely believed by the people. So ED officials will certainly have to be careful to see that they are not accused of any misuse of powers.
Right. Thanks for that response, Mr. Menon. Of course, these raids at Herald House and multiple other locations across the country coming in the backdrop of several rounds of questioning that both Rahul Gandhi as well as his mother Sonia Gandhi have already been subjected to. Now, let's listen into some more reactions that have come in with respect to today's raids.
Joined by senior Congress leader and parliamentarian from the Rajya Sabha, Mr. Nasir Hussain, here with me. Sir, 12 such locations is what we are given to understand are being raided as we speak right now in connection to the National Herald case. You are calling it to be a case of political vendetta, but the government of the day maintains that the agencies are independently carrying out their searches and only following due diligence.
See, how come only the opposition party leaders are being targeted? How come that all those people, those who were sent notices, those who were sent summons by these agencies, who joined BJP, are not being sent any notices now? It is very clear that they want to divert the attention of the common man of this country from real issues. They want to divert the political narrative that has been set up by the opposition. They don't have answers on price rise that you have seen in Lok Sabha studio. They don't have a roadmap to tackle price rise and inflation in our country. They are either living in the past, or they give jumlas about the future. They don't live in the present. They are in a denial mode. They don't have answers for Agnipath. They don't have answers for unemployment. They say there's no unemployment. They say there's no poverty.
But do you think it's a case of vendetta? Do you think it's a vendetta against opposition leaders?
100% it's a case of vendetta against opposition leaders. In National Herald case, it is an open and shut case. There's no money laundering happened either in cash or in account. No property has been transferred from somebody's name to somebody's name. It is all there from one firm to other firm in the form of change, and everything is there in public domain, and the whole country has debated on this issue already.
Thank you so much, sir. That is Mr. Nasir Hussain saying that there is no reason for the Congress party to worry as far as the National Herald case is concerned, that the Congress party has been very courageous over here to face the ED, and in the days ahead also they're not going to back out if the government's methods to try and harass the opposition leaders is only to muzzle their voices of critics against the government and its policy. In New Delhi, with video journalist Mrityunjay Kapoor.
All right, so that is what is being coming across as a standard response from the Congress party, as we've been looking at multiple reactions. But on the same lines, every time when the ED sends out a summons also to the senior Congress party leaders, it is not that only Rahul Gandhi or Sonia Gandhi who have been questioned in regard with the National Herald case. There have been other senior Congress leaders too who have been questioned. But if we talk about these particular searches that are being conducted, let's get you another angle that is now being said.